offers a lot more when everyone's trying to dive into the backline, but alongside this Azir, the on-hit would offer a lot more sustained damage to our fight.
I think I'd prefer to see Gala actually go for the lethality style here. You've got your late game damage in the Azir. You can hit your power spike earlier if you go for the lethality build. And your mid game can definitely struggle a little bit here if you don't have that damage coming through from the Varus. And it provides some extra long range artillery to take down the members that the Wukong and Rek'Sai have jumped onto.
Well, it's time to jump on Summoner's Rift and head into this series. Suning against DMO here, and Suning, they're in 13th place on the standings. It doesn't look good in regards to that, but they're 5-8 when it comes to wins and losses. If they can win all 3 remaining series, they still have a hope of making playoffs.
And that needs to start here today, taking down DMO. DMO, as we said, struggling to get into that playoff stage, but definitely looking to be disruptors when it comes to this game.
Going to be looking to crush the dreams of Suning, but most importantly as well, looking towards summer. We need to see what more will come from DMO. You mentioned it already, Natural changing his style a little bit, becoming more of a team fighter and less about these split push picks like the Camille that we know him for. And with a Wukong, you expect that his focus has to be joining in these skirmishes.
We're looking over at DMO, and we have seen this Varus not opt for the lethality. He's gone for lethal tempo, which means we'll see the on-hit Varus. So this is DMO looking to scale quite late into the game, and that's why I'm kind of surprised to see Xie go with the Hail of Blades. Usually the Hail of Blades Azir is more on that kind of poke in the lane, but definitely if you're looking for lethal tempo, because DMO are going for that later game team fighting, I thought I'd see the lethal tempo on both of the carries here.
Let's have Phase Rush here for SOFM on the set jungle. He's going to be spotted by this very early ward from Mark and Gala, but he's going to go for it anyway. Obviously didn't realize he was spotted.
So SOFM has gone for the Phase Rush, which is the same that we saw from Haro yesterday. So the idea here is that you can go for these early game ganks in the side lanes. This longer lane allows you to proc the Phase Rush and try and chase people down. You don't always have the opportunity though, as you can see there, where there's a few wards, people can still kite out the set.
Oh, this is why you got to ban away from Sword Art. He will never miss those hooks, and Mark feels the wrath of that pick. SOFM is behind the tower right now. He's going to clear the Gromp away, and if there's a big enough minion wave, he could look to go for a dive, but Mark comes to check the Gromp. Xiaopeng here, spotted by a warder. It means SOFM has to walk away.
SFM trying to split the map there, but unfortunately not having control of this mid lane, and with Mark already rotating over, wasn't confident that he could actually take that fight. So Xiaopeng, the level advantage, will actually set SOFM behind a little bit. So now we'll have to see if Suning's jungler can take a bit of a backstep here and farm back up to match Xiaopeng.
And it's a difficult situation as well, because bear in mind, he was put behind slightly by trying to go for this gank in the bottom lane. Reduces his timing windows, means that he's going to be a little bit slower. And now Xiaopeng meeting him in the jungle stops him running away with anything more. Xiaopeng going to be contested though. Does get the Scuttle Crab. And will be able to just wander away.
This is a mistake from SOFM, because Xiaopeng can now path directly through mid and go and take that secondary Scuttle Crab. Problem for Xiaopeng though is Natural hasn't got control of the top lane. You can see Bin already moving down to try and confirm this Rift Scuttler for SOFM.
Yeah, the big thing as well is Xiaopeng didn't get a blue buff so far. SOFM could be looking at the 3 buff, but Natural comes in. He wants to fight here. He's already getting fairly low. SOFM forced away. Xiaopeng has his smite available, and I think they might just be able to secure this crab with exactly that summoner. That's going to be a nice little find there. Now another hook in the bottom lane. Gala taking huge chunks of damage from Huanfeng.
This lane is a little bit obnoxious for Gala at the moment. The hooks are on point from Sword Art, but also the poke that can come from this misfortune through the wave. As Varus not the longest range of AD carries, you've got to approach that back minion line, and this sets up Huanfeng for those consistent double ups.
Isn't it crazy how the game has changed over the years? Because if you told me that one of the junglers 3 buffed the other one a couple of years ago, I would have told you the jungler that got 3 buffs is winning that one every single time. But because of Scuttle Crabs, because of the way the game has changed, Xiaopeng is the one with the experience advantage. Despite only getting 1 of the buffs, he got both of the crabs.
Yeah, the main camps that you want to look at when it comes to picking out a jungle lead are those 2 Scuttle Crabs, but also the Gromp and the Krugs. Those are the ones where most of your experience is, or as you said, the Scuttle Crabs are just because it's an extra camp for you.
Certainly is. Down in the bottom lane, the CS lead is starting to build up pretty significantly. We've seen how much pressure Huanfeng and Sword Art have been putting down, and it's really starting to appear on the scoreboard as well. Gala's in lane right now, though. You can see Huanfeng and Sword Art moving.
It sucks for Gala, though, because he didn't have enough to quite get the Vamp Scepter there, so he's had to go for the double longsword. So this punishment is still going to eke its way up because you don't have the lifesteal for Gala right now.
Natural is not having much of a fun time in the top lane here. Been doing a really good job on this Zorn just to keep punishing Natural every time he tries to go aggressive. But he's out of mana, so he can't do too much at this point, and Natural actually takes this opportunity to reset. In fact, both top laners, they shake hands, they say, look, let's have a mutual reset. Leave the lane in the middle. Let's both go back and buy.
It's not even, though, because Natural's already used his teleport to get back to the top lane, so Bin will have his to get here, so can shove in this wave really effectively with the Bellows Breath and force Natural to lose out on a little bit.
It was mind games after all from Bin, so he will have the advantage coming back to lane. He'll be back to full mana, and remember, he can forge his items for himself during the laning phase while he's in lane, so he'll always have a slight advantage there in terms of not needing to reset as often.
SOFM has made his way down to the bottom lane. You've still got Xiaopeng hovering in river, but won't spot where SOFM is right now.
Xiaopeng wants to make a play in the mid lane here. Angel. I think Angel is probably going to be safe here. Does have his Valkyrie available on the core key. But Sword Art, he's looking for Mark. Oh, he's found Mark. I don't think he was looking for him, but he's going to find him anyway. Mark happy to return the CC, though, and Ignite already dropped down. SOFM here tanking. Oh, the Lantern gets warded. That is just wonderful to look at right there. SOFM punished.
DMO had control of mid lane, so she is able to roam first. This is a mistake from Suni.
It's a great control ward as well. It blocked the Lantern, but it also clears vision for Dragon.
It's a double whammy. It's a double whammy. And now DMO can turn towards this Dragon if they really want to. Xiaopeng should have been able to solo that, but looking to see if maybe they can take a bit more off the top of this and get the gank in mid. Means that SOFM will have time to spawn and they won't be able to pick up that objective.
Yeah, I think Xiaopeng being a little nervous just to start the Dragon off immediately, purely because his bot lane wasn't pushed out at the time, his mid lane wasn't pushed out at the time, and he was a little bit nervous because we know Suning are going to fight you if they get the chance.
Also, with Rift Herald spawning, you can see SOFM has moved up to that direction, so Xiaopeng a bit nervous. Hey, if I take too much damage, I gotta go base, and getting back onto the map in time for this Rift Herald fight may not be there with us. About to hit that 8-minute mark, SOFM already got the vision down.
Now, the thing about Suning is when you think about this team on paper, the way that they've been playing so far, the split, is kind of like if Top Esports, if IG are like full fat Coke, then Suning are like Diet Coke. They're not quite as good mechanically, but they're still the kind of team that wants to find skirmishes. They want to find opportunities to outplay you with individual mechanics. But in this game so far, it's not really what we're seeing, purely because there's not been many opportunities to tussle. We've seen very passive laning phases out of either team.
We are seeing, though, the split down the map where Suning are picking up that Rift Herald. And it's funny because it matches the stats that we see so far. DMO put a much higher priority on towards the Dragon, although they're still 7th lowest in the league for picking up that objective.
Hey, 7 out of 17 is still above half.
Okay. No, 7th lowest.
Oh.
So they're on the opposite side of that. They're in the bottom half. But still Suning, a 50% Rift Herald control, so they're putting the priority onto that. We'll see now SOFM can try to use it, especially when you've already moved your bot lane up to support you in that endeavor in taking Rift Herald. Suning can look to take this top lane turret with the Rift Herald play.
Yeah, Huanfeng has that one for himself. We'll be able to just finish off this third plate and then drop it. Does mean that they get the extra efficiency out of that one. That would be the first tower of the game going their way. And this tower should just about net them a gold lead as well. Huanfeng with so much plating there.
Gala will eventually be able to answer on this bottom side. Gala opted for the boots first, so the extra attack speed is pretty good at taking down these structures. But the problem is he won't get it on this rotation, and it's a slower paced game for the bottom lane of DMO. Whereas with Rift Herald on top side, Suning are looking to push their advantage.
Can't quite commit to this one. Knockup from Natural. Double knockup from Natural. Sword Art desperately trying to protect Huanfeng. He's getting low. Still has his flash available, but Void Rush comes on through. It's only on Sword Art. Sacrifices himself for his AD carry the support way.
They didn't spot how many people have left the bottom lane for DMO, and with the recall timing, they're able to pick him off.
Angel forced to flash. Xie gonna follow it though and knocks him back over to Xiaopeng. SOFM wants to punish though. Xie, just about walks away, forces the flash out of SOFM. Huanfeng's still here on no HP, finally goes down. And suddenly, with no Haymaker available, it's a double for Xiaopeng.
This is what we talked about. Xiaopeng and Mark, when they're together, can really make things work. But Gala? Bin.
Bin, come on, mate. Oh, dear.
That was sloppy.
It was looking good across the board. I mean, we had great plays, and then Bin just drops the ball.
So let's take us back to how this all started. We had DMO trying to push in that bottom side, a slower push without the Rift Herald. So Suning looked to get the second charge onto the top lane turret. They stick around too long because they think they might be able to greed and get that full turret, which gives the opportunity for DMO on the resets to pick them off. And this is then where Xie, again with control in this mid lane, is able to set up the play for the rest of DMO, with Mark roaming, knowing that he doesn't need to be in the bottom side anymore to protect the Varus.
I can't believe Huanfeng was still there as well. It's going to be all of these kills going over the way of Xiaopeng there as well. 3-0-2 on Rek'Sai. Bear in mind, we were 0-0 just a couple of minutes ago, and suddenly Xiaopeng has taken over this game.
And this is great for DMO, because as we said, look, they want time to get towards these big ticket items. You've got the Azir, you're going for this on-hit Varus who takes longer to come online than the lethality. So having this early game start gives DMO a bit of a buffer to get towards those items. But we do have to look at the way Angel is building. Going towards this Manamune build, he's going to have an earlier spike. Misfortune, a far earlier spike than this on-hit Varus. So Suning, when we get to these objective fights, will have a better time if they can set up a front-to-back fight.
If they can set it up, but that is going to be the big question mark, because when we talk about Suning, one of the biggest issues they have been struggling with is when it comes to formal team fights, is being on the same page, being in the right positions, and one of the lead offenders on that has been SOFM, quite often not as willing as he needs to be to jump in and start the fight.
That's why we've got Bin on this Ornn. Bin will be the one that's initiating these fights with SOFM on the follow-up. And that's why we can see with a minute towards this dragon, everyone is congregating down on this bottom side, apart from Angel who has the TP.
X-Flash from SOFM, that's a showstopper as well. Oh, Xie knocks him away, so it looked nice, but he's still going to go down.
DMO tunneling on this bottom lane, trying to support Gala in getting that first tower for them, means that Xie is left on his lonesome in the mid lane. A great gank from SOFM to set things up, and now they should be able to go towards this dragon. But I'm watching Xiaopeng and Mark, they're trying to still make these plays on the bottom side.
Gala trying to finish off that final play. Bin has been found up in the top side right here. Xiaopeng will get that knock-up. Bin is not allowed to move for this entire skirmish. Finally gets away with the flash, and now he wants an engage for himself. Xiaopeng knocked up the brittle proct as well. SOFM trying to get in, trying to close the gap. It's not going to be able to, although Sword Art is the only one on the squad that's on the page of re-engaging.
Now though, Xie's respawn, Xiaopeng's still relatively healthy. The big ultimates from Suning are down as well. No Call of the Forge God, no Showstopper. So DMO were free to now take this objective. Now we would have assumed Suning would have been able to fight.
And this will be the second dragon for DMO as well. Sword Art, once again, the only one on the page here of let's fight them, let's make something happen. It was so sad to see Sword Art goes for the lantern play. He's looking for a hook and turns around. He's like, nobody's there. He's like, oh, all right, okay. Well, do you know what else has been sad? Watching Bin on this Ornn so far this game. This will be his first death, but he's not been having much of a fun time. Missed the Forge God down in the bottom lane earlier. Had to be forced out multiple times. Now will go down as well.
DMO once again, though, off to a great start in this game. We said their early to mid game has looked a lot more on point. They've been finding these early fights, picking up these early dragons, and now they're starting to approach this mid game with a lot of gold in their back pockets. You can see even the turret plating has really gone in their favor.
And Gala especially has been the benefactor of that. 640 gold for him from turret plating alone, and most of that was down in the bottom lane. You can see in his inventory now, he's got that Blade of the Rune King. He's got himself a pickaxe that's likely going towards a Rage Blade as well. So he'll very quickly now start to ramp into this team fight damage.
And with the way DMO's composition is set up, we're not worried about Natural going for the split pushes. Instead, he's looking to control waves and then join in on a flank. So this teleport Wukong is perfect for DMO if they can set up their vision correctly. However, Suning have vision in the river. They're the ones that have rotated towards this Rift Herald first, and DMO a bit on the back foot.
Yeah, Champong here, but they know that they can't contest this one. And this is the thing about Rift Herald, right, is if that's a Baron, if that's a Dragon, you can jump in and try and get this steal, but even if you steal the smite on a Rift Herald, you still probably aren't going to get the objective, so it's almost never worth suiciding to try and stop that. SOFM, though, and the rest of Suning moving into this mid lane, dropping the Herald immediately.
Look at Xiaopeng and look at Natural, though. They're looking to flank off of this. Rift Tower won't get the tower. You've got way too many members of DMO here, and Suning have to respect that they've lost vision of the Rek'Sai and the Wukong.
Natural will move back up towards the top lane again, and as you rightly said, he's going to look for the flanks in these kinds of skirmishes and team fights. But in the meantime, while that's not going on, he's got to be controlling the side lanes, has that teleport, will just move back up to the top, try and clear waves and push in towers when he can.
And Xie is doing the same on the bottom lane, has the teleport as well, so he's going to play keep away off this bottom lane turret, and it's more farm and gold that's going over into this Azir. Natural keeping himself in check in this top lane as well. Now, we've got somewhat similar scaling mid lanes here where the Corki, in theory, will be able to fight off against the Azir, but the build that we've seen from Angel go for, it's much of a mid-game spiking build rather than this late game we see with this Infinity Edge style of build coming out. So Suning are looking to all in on this mid-game because that's where the Misfortune Power Spike is as well.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of early power spikes coming on through here. Generally, it's around the 2 items that this Corki is going to become absolutely massive when he finishes that Triforce. He will still have a really good late game presence as well. Obviously, we'll go for the Infinity Edge later on in the build, but for now, it's much more about upfront ability damage.
Because usually we'll see after the Triforce, you go in towards the Rapid Fire, and then it's the Infinity Edge. So you're getting that crit damage a lot later in your build, so it takes a lot longer for you to have that relevant damage coming through. However, for Xie, definitely hitting hard off of those 3 items, so starting to hit that late game point a little bit sooner for DMO, and especially when Gala is looking towards this on-hit build we're talking about. Blade of the Rune King completed, Winsu's well underway. DMO, as long as they can keep these outer structures standing for as long as possible, can get to that goal point.
It feels kind of like the game has slowed down a bit here, but it almost benefits both teams at the same time, because Suning, obviously, they're waiting for those couple of power spikes to come through of the Infinity Edge and the Triforce. But on the other side of the board, when you look at DMO's carries, you've got an on-hit Varus and you've got an Azir. These guys, they don't really want to be fighting until like 3 items. That's when they're really going to come online. So most teams quite happy to play a little standoffish for now.
You say that, but the Dragon has spawned, and this Dragon would put DMO onto Soul Point. Natural making his way down, trying to see if he can get a flank. And with DMO controlling the vision and this river, it makes it a lot easier for them to operate with Natural and Xiaopeng coming in from the sides.
This could be an opportunity for us to really examine these two compositions. We mentioned it right at the start, the win conditions here. We've got to see some disruption from DMO against the front to back from Suning. Finn gets the fellow's breath. A couple of hooks come out, but it's non-committal from either side. Oh, Natural.
He's okay.
He's on the wrong side of the red buff there, but he gets away with it.
So even though Suning will win this front-to-back fight, if they're fighting in these small jungle corridors, that still favors DMO. Natural can get several knockups, especially if he can get the clone to have a knockup as well. Great for these chains of corruption to spread around throughout several members of Suning. So this is why they wanted to get into River first.
Dragon down, 2,500 HP. Call of the Forge God immediately, but it's Soul Point for DMO. Mark happy to tank everyone up. Bullet time over 3. Oh, it's huge damage from Huanfeng. Natural trying to disrupt, but he's low himself. Haymaker on everyone, and SOFM survives. Void Rush, but he sacrificed himself. No, tunnels away, walks away with his life. It's just going to be a 2-for-1, and DMO come out with everything.
Natural was able to get access onto Angel in that fight, disrupting that damage that was coming out from the mid laner of Suning. And DMO pick up the Dragon, and they're starting to look towards a bit more in the kills.
It felt so good with that bullet time from Huanfeng, but the Dragon, the kills go the way of DMO in the end. They will get a tower, so Suning, they found themselves a bit of a consolation prize at least, but ultimately, DMO's composition in these fights, it's working out. The disruption from Natural was beautiful.
And there's no one really to deal with it in this fight. So what ends up happening is that we get a great hook from Mark to stop the Call of the Forge God, and then when we see Natural getting in on towards Angel and Sword Art, there's nobody to help heal for the backline here. Hook is down alongside the Flay, which gives Natural free roam here. SOFM is trying to play frontline alongside the Ornn, so there's nothing for them in these team fights to peel for Huanfeng and Angel in the backline. They're forced back, and even though they're at a stronger point in their game, they can't get their damage out onto the low health members of DMO.
So I found out what these percentages are. This is the percentage of how often they're getting Barons and whatnot. I'm not sure exactly, but that's why it adds up to 180%, because it's more about how often each team gets it. And I think it's how often they've got it this game or something. Somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because DMO have a 36.8% of Barons. You're looking at Suning having about a 47.4% of Barons. So it does match up there.
That is the top bar.
That is, yeah. So that is what we'll be looking at. But someone's going to end up adding to their stats in this game, because we're past the 20-minute mark. Baron is on the cards. And we're looking at items that have been picked up here. Guinsu's Rage Blade completed for Gala. He's in great shape. Still waiting on this secondary item to come through for Xie just yet, though.
I want to bring everyone's eyes to the junglers in this game. We said at the start this is going to be about Gala against Huanfeng, but really, this is all about SOFM and Xiaopeng. Look at the pure jungle difference. 40 CS, 404 versus a 131 scoreline right there. He's a level ahead as well. Xiaopeng on this Rek'Sai has done an amazing job of just completely shutting SOFM out of the game.
And this is where DMO shine, where Xiaopeng and Mark can move together to control vision. We talked about them being able to pick off people if they find them in the enemy jungle, but it's definitely a dangerous duo to try and face against if you're Suning. Now getting control of this river area for the Baron setup, while also keeping Xie safe on this top side, so Natural can put pressure on the bottom lane.
Vin's just going to be clearing on out both top laners with the teleports available, so they will be able to rejoin the fray should they need to. Angel needs to be a little bit careful. There are 3 enemies nearby, doesn't have the package. We'll just walk away though, and Suning, they want to answer for this one. But the Emperor's Legacy turret, whatever it's called, is going to stop them just forcing. SOFM's gone way too deep by himself here. Showstopper to bring Mark back in. Bullet time only onto the support, but it's a kill nonetheless. Gala in the meantime, by the way, he's just in the mid lane.
As long as DMO can get away from here, they actually win out in this trade. They got the tower, they got 2 towers, and now they can escape as well. So lock committed by Suning, including the teleport from Bin, which makes the defense of your side lanes against the likes of Natural in the bottom lane far more difficult to deal with.
Really nicely played across the map here from DMO. And this is not really what we expect to see out of this squad. They've not had a fun split so far. They've been really struggling when you look at their schedule as well. They lost to BLG earlier in week 6, so that kind of performance doesn't make you feel good, because BLG, they've not looked great. But they did beat V5, so that's one slightly silver lining we can give them. But unfortunately for them, every team's beaten V5.
Dragon up in 30 seconds. Nobody has control of River just yet, so this will be slightly in favor of Suning if they can get it in their favor. But DMO quicker off the mark. Still got to wait for Natural though. No TP available on the Wukong, so this is a 4 versus 5 potential.
Sidestep after sidestep on these hooks. Sword Art and Mark just kind of tip their hats at each other and walk away. As you rightly say, 10 seconds on the Dragon. Gala needs to be careful with his positioning here. Suning has priority.
Yeah, this could have been really bad. If Bin had been able to get across sooner, could have picked off Gala in that choke. The long lane in the mid has now been pushed, so putting pressure onto the tier 2.
Natural, he's looking for the flank that we know he needs. SOFM spots him out on a ward now. Suning need to be cautious that they don't get caught out by this massive Wukong ultimate. This would be Ocean Soul for DMO. That would be... Oh no, the arrow gets it in the end. That is disaster for Suning here. DMO now looking for the fight, but Mark going to be the first one to go down here. Xie and Gala, they're in trouble. Natural's getting into the backline. Sword Art flashes away. Bin desperate to escape as well. There's the second knockup, but Gala is hooked. Can they finish the AD carry? The answer's no. He's got too much lifesteal, plus an Ocean Soul. DMO run through Suning.
Angel and Huanfeng played that fight so well, getting away from the Wukong. Bin and SOFM were keeping Natural at bay, but the problem was the rest of the fight was going disastrously for them. Now this Ocean Soul would enable DMO to heal up and go for this Baron.
Angel's teleported in here, but I don't really know why. There's not a whole lot he can do on this. Honestly, that just felt like a complete waste of a teleport to me. He got 2 minions.
Nailed
he's
it.
just going to hover nearby.
So DMO once again looking good. Natural now trying to push out this wave in the top lane to give a little bit more comfort over to DMO. But watch how much Natural struggles to get into this fight. That's why this fight looks so well to begin with, because you've got this front to back stall, but again, Mark stopping the Call of the Forge God followed through again. And Huanfeng and Angel are consistently pressuring the back line here. And it looks brilliant right up until Natural finally gets into the fight. And at that stage then, DMO get the disruption that they need, and the carries are able to, with the gold lead they've accumulated so far, finish off the fight.
And Xiaopeng and Xie there protecting Gala from the full engage that was available from Suning at the back end of the fight as well. Now Huanfeng, he's not feeling great in this game because, you know, he's on almost 300 CS at 26 minutes. He's 4-1-0. Usually you'd think that's great. But then they just can't seem to be able to get these team fights to work. They're not finding the front-to-back battle that they actually want. And it means that he can't get these perfect bullet times across the squad. I think that was actually Xiaopeng that managed to smite that one away. You see now it's a 2-level advantage in that jungle for DMO. Bin's kind of knocked him onto Mark, but I don't think they can really commit to this one. Oh, Chains of Corruption. Oh no, Bin, you've gone too far. Lantern comes out. Sword Art going to be able to save his top laner.
And now DMO have the inside track onto this bottom lane turret, so this will go down without a fight. Natural moving back towards this mid lane to push this in, and DMO looking to do a sweep and clear out all these outer structures on the Suning side.
Into the bottom lane now. Gala, he's hit the 3-item mark, and he's not gone for the Hurricane. He's gone for that rapid fire cannon. A bit more range, a little bit more safety on the Varus. Natural gets to pressure in the mid lane in the meantime. Look towards this tier 2. With the Baron buff still for another minute, you'd expect across the next minion wave they should be able to crack either the bottom lane or that mid lane tier 2.
Suning are being forced to make difficult decisions here. Gala draws them all over to the bottom lane, so Natural has time to finish off this mid lane. The top wave isn't really in their favor though.
They're going to try and force the fight, Mark. Oh, what a hook onto Gala! That was beautiful! 2 more for Huanfeng now. And this is why everyone talks about Sword Art's Thresh.
Well, it was an easy setup. Bin got the Call of the Forge God to plunk Gala into the waiting hands of Sword Art. So DMO not respecting the engage that can come through from Suning and end up paying for it there. They do get both towers, but now that Baron buff push is over.
Now going to get a couple of nice kills, and both of them go to Huanfeng once again. This entire game is on the shoulders of Huanfeng right now, and this Corki pick, we were talking about how hard it's going to spike in the mid game. We've not felt that at all. Look at that. Yeah.
Mark wasn't able to get it in time into the direction of that hook, so Gala ends up going down alongside the support. But still, we look at DMO in great shape here. Ocean Soul, a 8k gold lead. Now they're looking over towards this dragon that's about to spawn as well. So DMO still heavily in the driving seat here. And when we look towards them controlling the river, making sure that Suning can't get this front-to-back fight that we're talking about, having the teleport onto Natural to give him flank positions that Suning aren't prepared for.
See what the Suning preparation is going to look like. That was what we were criticizing earlier on about SOFM. We've seen him when he was on the Sejuani, nervous to pull the trigger and start the team fights. Now, on this set, he's been doing a good job of using the showstopper to try and deny Natural's entry into the fights. But outside of that, he's been struggling to have much of an impact.
1 minute until this dragon. You see DMO very quickly congregating around that, getting the vision in when they can. But with Xie off on the bottom side, DMO are forced to retreat, so it gives the opportunity for Suning now to get in and try and play some of their own vision.
1 minute until this Elder Dragon will spawn on the map. That is when things are really going to kick off, because DMO, they're feeling good right now. They're 6,000 gold up. They've got an Ocean Soul. They've got 3 more towers than their opponents in Suning. And Suning, they need this. They need some kind of lifeline right now because this is slowly but surely getting away from them.
And watch the side waves. They're also getting away from Suning. Both top and bottom is pushing, so Suning need to pull this trigger fast or they're going to start losing structures on these side lanes as well.
Mark, oh, actually dodges the hook and it goes on Xiaopong. This is a huge bullet time and already into Guardian Angel. Natural trying to disrupt the fight. Haymaker across everyone. That's a 4-man knockup from Natural. It's going to be 1 for 1. No, make it 2 because Xie, he's got himself a double. Huanfeng flashes on the spot and he's got the whole gold pile for this squad. The carries remain for Suning, but the fight doesn't work.
At the mouth of these jungle routes, DMO control the fight. They're able to throw in the chains of corruption. Natural can get multiple people knocked up with that ultimate. And yes, you've got Huanfeng who's got the bullet time, but if you're at the mouth of these jungle routes, DMO can spread out, avoid that damage, and they've almost certainly confirmed the Elder Dragon for themselves.
Yeah, we've got to see some kind of contest out of Suning here, surely. They're not going to even go for it. Elder goes down. DMO in complete and utter control now, and look to the scoreboard. It's all about Xiaopeng setting things up.
So this is the chains of corruption that come in from Gala to hold everyone in place, which sets up perfectly for Natural to now get into the back line. And the bullet time isn't able to do very much here because of all the disruption in the CC.
Oh, the flash, no! Oh, you hate to see it. Huanfeng, you poor devil.
So now Baron is up.
Do you want to know why he flashed for that? Because you'd think that was a weird flash anyway, right? Try and kill Xiaopeng. He's got a 500 gold bounty. He's 5-0 and 6. And that would have shut out the Elder potential.
Hasn't shut out the Elder, hasn't shut out this Baron potential either. Now Bin pushing in this bottom lane. He needs to try and teleport over, but it looks like Suning realized we can fight with this Elder buff up. DMO will pick up the double buff for themselves and now can start work on these inhibitor turrets of Suning.
And bear in mind, DMO, they've got 9 losses on the standings right now. Even if they win every single other game, they're relying on what else happens in the rest of the table. If they want a chance of playoffs, they're not mathematically out yet, but they need other teams to do badly for them to succeed. And right now, they're going to put Suning in the same boat as them. Suning, a 5-8 right now. If DMO were to win this series, both teams would end up 5-9 on the scoreboard. Gala going to be collapsed upon here. Call of the Forge God goes through, but it's a little too late. Gala finally drops. Can they trade this? Can they finish this fight off? Huanfeng going to be collapsed on, and the Elder Dragon is just too damn strong. There's another kill going the way of Xiaopeng. He's just padding his stats at this point because that's 4 kills going the way of DMO. Mark happy to tank the Nexus towers here. And they traded 80 carries at the start of the fight, but DMO with Elder, with an Azir, they're just too damn strong to deal with. Now barreling into the base, they're going to finish this game off in commanding style, honestly. Suning unable to get on the board here in game number 1.